So Trials is coming out very soon, and the #1 question on everyone's mind is what loadout is random YouTuber that I don't care about gonna use? And this video is meant to address that very important, seething, hot, burning question. I mean, it's important stuff. The first thing I wanted to address is the fact that the Jez and I uploaded essentially the same exact video on the same exact day. I plan my videos at least a week in advance, and I upload and edit them the day before they get posted. So would I be able to see his video and make a video within 4 hours and upload it? No, I would not. Do I look like the type of guy who is desperate for content? You know, yeah, actually, just don't answer that. So obviously this list is subject to change because none of us have actually gotten to play in the new sandbox. So for all we know, I might be running something completely different once Trials has been out for a few weeks. But for my Warlock, I plan on running spare rations with Beloved on Top-Tree Dawn. As far as my exotic armor, it's kind of a toss-up right now between Transversives and Karnstein armlets. Transversives, they make it so when you're sprinting, it'll automatically reload your weapons. On top of that, you just get a better sprint and slide distance. So it's like you get better mobility and whatnot, but I'm sure most of you guys already know that. And for Karnstein armlets, I will start regenerating health on melee kills, which you can imagine when you pair that with Top-Tree Dawn with a melee that can shoot people from 8,000 meters away and kill them, you know, it's gonna work pretty damn well. On top of that, my spare rations has Swashbuckler, which if you didn't know, it's essentially kind of like Rampage. In my opinion, it's a little bit better because it seems to last longer. On top of that, when you get a melee kill, it'll automatically shoot the stack of Swashbuckler to maximum, which is 5 times. So as you can imagine, when I'm playing Top-Tree Dawn, and if I have a really good melee, then I'll be able to get 5 times stack at least decently often if I'm playing off of it. On top of that, in terms of the toss-up between Transversives and Karnstein armlets, it doesn't really seem like I'm going to need fantastic mobility for Trials because it's a no respawn game mode, and a lot of it hinges on individual engagements, whether you can stay alive in a 1v1 or clutch out a 1v2 and whatnot. So if I'm getting like 1v2'd and I 2-tap a guy with a spare rations and immediately shoot a melee from the other side of the solar system and kill him, then I'll start regenerating my health and I'll be better prepared to kill the second guy. So I'm not too used to them yet. I'm kind of ass with them. I feel like my movement's really bad right now, but eventually I feel like it's going to be a really good thing for me to use them in something like Trials. I was debating on messing around with Middle Tree Voidwalker and Devour Voidwalker because they are being changed a little bit, but for the most part I'll be sticking with Top-Tree Dawn strictly because I can play off of the melee with Karnstein armlets and the Swashbuckler perk that is on my spare rations. And in Trials, a lot of times there's just a few lanes that everyone peeks every single round. So if I can pop my grenade and just float up near like a telephone pole and then just rip some kid's face off from just a spot he cannot see, then that will work pretty well, at least with how I'm imagining it. And if you're curious about my Beloved, I have Quick Draw and No Distractions. I might use Quick Draw Snapshot, but the reasoning behind using No Distractions is, like I said, people only peek a few lanes when they're playing Trials. So if I can just pre-aim a lane and get No Distractions procced and just get like a free kill off of it, that is beautiful. That is what I'm looking for. I might try to mix Last Word into my loadout, but like I said earlier, that gun is looking to be very bad. And even in year 2, year 3 of Destiny 1, I really didn't like using Last Word in Trials. What I found is when you use a weapon that is either very good at long range or very good at close range, but isn't too good in different ranges, right? Like Last Word, only good when you're really up close, or up really close. And like for scout rifles, they're only good when the person is far away. And that leaves like a lot of openings in your gameplay, and when you're playing against good people, it can be difficult to get kills with those sorts of weapons. So that's why I'm staying away from like the Ace of Spades, any scout rifle, and the Last Word, because it's only close range. So that's why something like the Spare Rations is so good, because it's really good close range, really good medium range, and is at least capable at kind of longer ranges. But at that range, you know, no hand cannon is really doing anything after the nerf, at least. Moving on to my Hunter, if I am sniping, which I don't really plan on doing much of, I will 100% be using Lucky Pants. I'm still kind of leaning towards them even if I'm shotgunning, but I'm sure I'll go back and forth between Stompies and Lucky Pants. It's just that they're really, really good for sniping. As far as my loadout, I'll either be using Beloved with a Rose or a Spare Rations, or a Mindbenders with a Rose or a Spare Rations. Maybe a Thorn if I'm feeling a little bit spicy spicy. But in my opinion, the thorn isn't quite as good as the rose or spare rations right now. For a while, I was kind of considering using ace of spades, but like I mentioned earlier, I just don't feel like 140s are going to be that great in trials because they're not as fantastic at close range. At like close medium range, they almost always get beat out by a spare ration, so there's not really too much of a point of using one. And if I were to use a 140, I'd honestly probably use my Austringer. I'm not to be completely dead ass, but that's the truth. And that wasn't really as in depth as my reasoning for using my whole Warlock setup, but that's just because Warlock is the one that I play like 80% of the time these days. So I don't have humongous plans for the other classes. And speaking of non-humongous plans, I think the Titan is probably the most neglected out of all my characters right now. Even though when I originally came back to Destiny like 5-6 months ago, it was the only class that I was playing. I have a few different potential loadouts that I wish to run by you guys. The first one would just be like the ultra basic spare rations mindbender bottom tree striker like I used to run. But I was thinking like if I'm going to be mainly playing seriously on like a Warlock or whatever, a lot of times, at least in Destiny 1, when I'd go on my other characters, I just use something that is fun. So right now I don't have a good 72 RPM sniper, but something I was thinking of is I could just be an absolute dickhead and just run around with a 72 RPM sniper, run bubble on Defender Titan, and then I mean honestly at that point it's whatever primary. Most likely, let's just be honest with ourselves, I'd end up running the spare rations or like a rose or something. But just running around body shotting kids with a 72 RPM sniper like an absolute cyber terrorist, I think would be a really good experience for me. And you know, when I'm playing serious on the Warlock and in the Hunter, and I needed just a nice chill break to relax and just clip some toenails with my sniper and get free kills, this is gonna be my go-to. I was watching a few of the Destiny Fun Plays videos the other day, and given the fact that I have a really good bone structure that I just got, it got me thinking, maybe not run bubble for this, but what I could do is run top tree for Sentinel, and then because it is a slugshotty, right, you're not going to be one-shotting anyone for the most part unless you're aiming for the head. So if I run that, anytime I get a body shot, I can follow up with a melee, and because of the perk that is in top tree Sentinel, I'll just melee them, and then I'll get free health regen and a free overshield, and then I can just frolic through the fields and kill everyone else on the other team. Because at this point, I've already decided that or that Titan in general is going to be my troll class, so I'm just trying to think of like fun stuff to use. Maybe I'll throw on a Telesto here and there, but you know, Titan for me, I'm just gonna be chilling, laying back, having a fantastic time. And I know that Bungie made a post about trying to phase out old weapons, so I'm assuming after a while, Mindbenders, Spare Rations, Beloved, all that stuff is not really going to be relevant trial weapons, but this is just stuff that I'm telling you that I'm going to be planning on using as soon as Trials drops. But a lot of this stuff can be applied to future weapons, right? Like the reasoning behind why I use Top Tree Dawn, or at least why I want to use Top Tree Dawn for Trials, it all remains the same. So that is it for today's video. I just wanted to give everyone a quick heads up because this is already kind of like a discussion style video, that the day that Trials drops is also the day that I will be heading out of town to celebrate my 4-year anniversary with my girlfriend. I bought these tickets back in October, so for people saying, oh dude, cancel your trip so you can sit at home and play Trials, that is not going to be something that I'm doing. I'm looking into potentially getting a laptop so I can edit while I'm on the trip or while I'm on the airplane, but most likely there will be uploads scheduled throughout my trip that will be edited by someone else other than me. So if you see videos while I'm away or like right after the new season drops and you're like, wait dude, this doesn't really look like you edited it, then that is why. I've worked with the editor for a few weeks now trying to get everything similar to how I would edit it, so it's not like it's going to be a massive drop off or change. It's just going to be probably slightly different. And as far as Trials content, I will not be being able to play Trials at all until probably 2 or 3 weeks in. We get back around the 20th, like the early 20s, right? I don't want to give exact dates, so I don't want to get, you know, I'm not trying to, I mean, I don't know what people can do with exact dates, but I'm not giving them out. So I will be missing the first 2 weeks of Trials, so you can expect during the 3rd week or after the 3rd week, my first Trials run on my YouTube channel. So I'll be like covering new weapons, new exotic armor, new PvE stuff, because I know people said they're interested in PvE videos. I apologize for rambling. I know this went a little bit longer, but I figured it's already a discussion video. I might as well kind of throw in an update as to what's going to be happening with my channel, because I haven't really talked about it at all. Hopefully hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know, what do you plan on using for trials? Leave it in the comment section down below. Also, if you're feeling a little extra spicy, you can even throw in your reasoning behind using it. If you did enjoy this video, the best way to support it is by dropping a like. On top of that, if you're already subbed and you don't want to miss a video, just go ahead and click on the bell right next to the sub button to enable post notifications, and hopefully I will be seeing you guys in my next video. Peace.